and Patreon subscribers, gold's really interesting now because at the FX SSI level, which obviously aggregates these brokers, we are now sell. So that's of note. We have crossed over the 50%. Note that we did beat prior, but then they sold it again each time. So they might do it again, potentially. They're quite keen to sell this because looking at, where we are, they're probably thinking we're quite extreme. It probably should be falling. And so using that logic, they might sell it. We are admittedly extreme technically, but if the herd think that, then, we can potentially do okay. I do note that the profitable traders are long. They're holding long, but we have flipped over. But it's possible we're going to get another crossover back down. And if we do, then we'll possibly come up here. But I'm saying in the Discord, we want to be targeting here-ish. I don't think we're going to get all the way out there. We might do, but round about here, 1944 would be a nice TP. Potentially we can come up there, but it might be wanting to wait for the FOMC next week. And then that would be like the final rinse out, and then that will be it. And then, that we can fall. Unless, of course, they move their stops higher. If they move their stops higher, then we can continue higher, right? And so my thinking here is that they are going to sell it, and then we're going to come up to 1944 for a TP. But I'm going to probably not take any trade today because with some nice opportunities and some good profits this week. So if I enter now, there's a chance of it going wrong, and then I'll be giving my money back to the market. And obviously, we spend a lot of hours analysing the markets, and obviously, it has to be worthwhile. The hours that I put into it, I need to get paid, right? So I don't really want to put money back into the market. I think this is probably going to come up, and we're going to come up to 1944. So we'll have to come back to this on Monday, and so that's what I think is going to happen. They're thinking that we're too extreme, so they're going to sell it, and it's going to push that sentiment back below 50, and then it will come up here. So that's my thinking. So look at our dollar pairs. So dollar is looking fairly weak. Remember, CAD is going to be fundamentally strong because of the oil, and we've got the China reopening. Russia also had a huge cut as well of their oil supply, so that's going to put pressure onto oil, and oil should appreciate in its value, and CAD does well from its oil exports. Okay, so there's the fundamental logic for a stronger CAD. Dollar is, potentially weak because we've got a 25 basis point hike pretty much guaranteed at the next meeting. It's not too aggressive, and it's putting a little bit of pressure on the USD. So fundamentally, this could probably perform quite poorly. Monthly pivots there. So SLC there. This is probably quite likely. 133. So 17 pips to the target there. You can see it wants to grab those stops potentially. And apologies if you can hear my cat in the background just playing with the ball. So that's fine. And then so maybe here, dollar CAD. Okay, go to dollar yen, and yeah. So let's have a look at this one. 130.65 and 129 on the dot. Weekly opens here, so if we go below the weekly open, we're going to be fairly bearish. If we go here, then it just tells us we haven't done anything all week. We just chopped. That's where we opened in the week. If we close on that level, it just didn't do anything at all. And so trading UJ would have been quite frustrating on a swing term perspective, swing trade perspective. You wouldn't have really made any money. It just chopped, and it was just consolidating and ranging in that. In fact, we're ranging here, aren't we, really, to be honest? There's a huge range. So we're just going accumulated and going sideways. So below WO, weekly open, SLC probe, I think. And if we do manage to hold above that, then I guess we target the SLC above. So there's your level there. So we might just close on the weekly open. So we'll have to wait and see there. Not particularly a nice pair to trade. And, you'd ideally want to see it above there, or you'd want to see price below there. And that is a humongous range. Dollar Swiss. I think some of you might be trading dollar Swiss. See, they are selling it. Okay, so them selling it can push price higher. If they continue, then we'll go closer to the 50%. If we cross the 50%, then we'll be a buy. Okay, so the one above, 9235, 9140, daily open, weekly open, and there's your target for a long. There's your target for a short. So above the WO, ATR target long, but really we got this first. So near term target SLC, longer term target ATR long, but obviously we're coming to the end of the week now, so it might be better just to sit on your hands. And unlikely we're going to get out there today. That's a weekly target, so it might be possible, but we'd have to see some risk off probably for this to do well. I'm going to look at GU. We had a bit of a discussion on cable yesterday in Discord, and I was quite keen for this to fall, and another subscriber was saying, it's quite bullish. We are bullish because we've got the there's your monthly pivot. Okay, we're coming to the end of the month, so don't forget we've got end of month flows, which is something we need to be aware of. The start of next week, we've got lots of positions being closed by portfolios and hedge funds, so and we'll have new levels as well. So this month we were quite bullish. Next month, I'm not sure, and that depends where we are with our monthly pivots. So we have got monthly resistance 1 as a support. Weekly open we're below, which is of note. So we might just bounce around sideways below MR1, SLC 12340. Above the weekly open, SLC 12450. So that's probably what I would probably look for a short there to target that, but it's not really worth doing, is it? 15 pips. It's probably better just to sit in your hands. That's probably something you could entertain, and then you could entertain that idea if you wanted to. So that's how you can use it. So potentially just sideways. My cat is going bonkers, so apologies for that. I think she's a little bit bored, maybe. EU 109.30, and the one below is at 108.30. So there's 100 pips between. Don't forget we've got the FOMC and we've got the ECB next week. So we're going to see a breakout. Which way we're going to go, it's hard to say. And the one below is larger. It is substantially a lot larger than one above. So that might be possible. It might just want to get 108.30. But closing below the weekly open would be quite bearish for next week. So that is quite interesting. So it's quite hard to say what's going to happen. Below WO, SLC, above then SLC, and we've got between the ranges the monthly resistance 2, monthly resistance 1. So that's possibly a scenario is it just wants that liquidity in order for the bounce that we might get next week. And they were saying how the ECB is going to be a lot more hawkish than the Fed. So the euro might pump as well. And we're having a rotation of large spec money going into Europe, and it's coming away from the US as well. So there's fundamental flows for a stronger euro potentially. So maybe it wants to get that liquidity for a bounce, and we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be pretty much a roller coaster. I won't be trading the Euro USD next week because of the central bank, and especially their press conferences as well. They're very, very hard to forecast what's going to happen, and no one really knows the questions that are going to get asked as well. So it's a bit of an unknown variable. So I think potentially grab that liquidity for a bounce next week, and I think gold's going to go up potentially, and up to 1940-ish. And this, don't forget, this is a bullish candle that we formed. So we're currently within that range. So I would be surprised to see it below, because this is institutional volumes that actually pushed price. This isn't retail. This is big money that pushed price on that gold. So currently we're holding in that range. So 1944-ish maybe. There's a fib there. So potentially up here. So trade carefully. I don't think I'm going to do any trades today, and I'm going to come back on Monday. kind of tempted to long gold, but I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. And if you're not sure, don't trade, and then come back on Monday. And don't forget, we've got end of month on Monday and Tuesday as well. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back on Monday, back on Sunday with the COT data and with that data file that you can use as well.